Hello, fellow viewers from all over the globe. Once more, welcome to the Amamanson Network. This is Mercy Berik, coming again to talk to you about vegetables and flowers. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day or evening, depending on where you are. So, how are you guys doing? As for me, I have um I have three things to spotlight today. I am out in the garden again. It's getting a little cold, but I just wanted to be here until I can, and then I'll probably be able to do the show from inside. So I would like to spotlight this vegetable. Let's start with this vegetable. It's called it has a lot of different names, but this is the African species. And if you know from my previous programs, I said I'm from former southern Cameroons. It's called Ambazonia, and this is like the real one that we cultivate back home, right in the village. So this is called African Nightshade, but it does have different names. The scientific name for this vegetable is called Solanium, Solanium scrapum, but it has different species, meaning that the genus is Solanum, but it's found in a lot of different places, and so you have different species. For example, you have Solanum nigrum, you have Solanum americanum, because it's also widely thought that it was first grown here in the Americas, like in South America, and also in Australia, you have this particular species which is called the Solanium scrapum. Also, you would find this very common in Nigeria, Kenya, and I think some other African countries. So this vegetable is used like for edible purposes. So you can cook it and eat it, anyhow you like. You normally, because of the variation in the species, so there is different levels of bitterness for this vegetable. Uh, from my own place where I'm from, you would boil it and then sometimes like strain out the water, yeah, and then before you cook it. Otherwise, it may be very bitter. But depending, for also for medicinal purposes, you can as well boil it and actually drink the water or whatever is extracted from it. Yeah, you can drink that water. So we call this we call it huckleberry. It's kind of like the English way of calling it, but we call it njama where I'm from. Um, in my native tongue, we call it Nuseji. Nuseji, yes. So I would like to know uh, anyone who watches either now or later on, what do you call it? Because this is like grown now everywhere. You have the Vietnamese also say this is like their traditional food. For me, this is my traditional food. We would cook this and then with the cornmeal, but you can always improvise with whatever you want, whether it's a plantain, or just like that. You can just eat it as a veggie or with, yeah, fried plantains, boiled plantains. You can also eat it with yams, cassava, or whatever you choose. Yeah. So we have this species, and then you have another kind that also has like very broad leaves. So if you go around the globe, you will see that there's lots of variation. And then there's also like the flower of this plant is actually a berry. So it's either like black or it's a purple berry. So those are what we use later on as seeds to plant. Yes, so this is like one of my best food, and it is really highly recommended for its nutritional value, you know, as well as just for the fact that it tastes really good when you cook it. When you cook it well, depending on your taste buds or what you prefer or how you prefer to cook it. So for I'll go to the uses. This vegetable is very high in vitamin A, B, and vitamin C. So you can have it is recommended actually from pregnant women, and also like when you're sick, because it also provides high levels of iron as well. So it's a very good one. It's a very good one to have if you choose to cultivate any vegetable. Yeah, this is like our main staple from a whole region. So like if you don't have any food, at least try to have this. Try to have some jama jama. Okay. And then, like I said, it in addition to vitamin A, B, and C, it has also phenolics and alkaloids, you know, and it's also good for people that have like iron deficiencies and even malaria. So now I'm just kind of talking more of the uses in Africa. It was even once said like in my village, they said like the people from my village also were very intelligent because they ate a lot of this vegetable. When like maybe uh there wasn't like as much to choose from, you know, you can rest assured that this is this will give you a lot of good stuff. Okay. So now next on my list is sweet potatoes. I don't know if you guys know about sweet potatoes, but I just have the leaves because it's not yet ready on the garden. Yeah, it's growing. And so sweet potatoes is like a starchy root or a tuber, and these are the leaves. So both the tuber itself and the leaves are very um, nutritive. So they have very good nutritional value and also medicinal value. So these leaves, first let me go with the scientific name for sweet potatoes. It is called Ipoma batatas. You have to forgive me with the pronunciation, but like it's not in my native tongue, but that's how I call it. It's called um, Ipoma batatas. So it is an underground tuber. It is rich. That is the tuber itself, in addition with the leaves. But right now I'm talking about the tuber. That's the plant. So it is rich in an antioxidant called beta carotene, which is very effective in raising blood levels of vitamin A, particularly in children. So potato leaves are also very, very nutritional. A study in Louisiana found that they provide vitamins and minerals like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, uh, thiamine, niacin, zinc, folic acid, calcium, riboflavin, and iron. So if you look like at even your vitamins, multivitamins that people normally take, you would see all of this. Uh, you will see all of this in it. So this is a very important vegetable. I did not normally use it for like to eat, but right now I discovered just by research, I would eat just the tuber where you can, which is kind of like red or white, depending on where it's from. You have the Japanese version, you have the African version of sweet potatoes, you have the American version of it that also contains the beta carotene. So it's a very good food to have. It doesn't matter what your health status is, whether you're um diabetic or hypertensive. Sweet potatoes is definitely one to consider having as a normal staple in your house. So it also has iron, vitamin K, it has vitamin B6 and protein. So these leaves right here, they are very good. Like I have to find a way to cook it, just cook it my way. But I know like people of Liberian descent, they also like it. So when you go to the farmers market, you see a lot of people buying this. Yeah, they sure they are smart. They know like what they are getting from this sweet potatoes. And in this case, these are the leaves. And just to like tell you like how important it is. The vitamin K that it has helps in decalcifying arteries of hard and harmful plaque deposits. So for those that are having like congestive issues, so this is one thing that you can use to reduce your or to alleviate um your health issue. So it'll help to reduce the buildup around arteries and veins. So that is what it means when they say like the decalcification or decalcifying of arteries and of hard and harmful plaque deposits. Then vitamin K, which this leaf has a high content of, will also help reduce inflammation of the cells lining the blood vessels along your veins and your arteries. So it doesn't only help to decalcify, but it also helps to reduce inflammation. That's how good it is. So summarily, the 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 sweet potatoes is a starchy root vegetable. It's rich in fiber, vitamins, minerals, and they are also very high in the antioxidant, which I just said, the beta carotene, that protects your body from free radicals, damage, and chronic disease. So I recommend this highly. I was going to demonstrate the actual tuber, but of course I happen not to have it at home. But I think it will be ready in the farm soon, and probably I can go back and um show you how what it looks like. So I hope we are doing good. Hello. I just wanted to say if you are watching, I encourage you to interact. I love your feedback. You have any questions or you have any contributions, and make sure to like, share, and follow. Thank you. And then today, I'm also going to introduce a flower. But before I do that, I wanted to say there's lots of different ways to cook potatoes. Of course, I know people have their different recipes all over the world. So you can actually do it as you can fry it, like fries, potato fries, or just bake them. I know it's healthier to bake. And then you can also just cook your potatoes, just boil them. That is the tuber now, not the leaves. You can just boil the tuber itself, and then you can eat it with soup or whatever sauce, or you can eat it by itself. You can eat it with eggs, however you choose, you know. You mix it, whether eat with something that has protein, vegetables, or maybe you can still eat it with potato leaves. Yeah. Even though for me that will be like overkill, potato and sweet potato leaves. But I guess it works. Yeah. As for the leaves, it's just like any other vegetable too. You know, I just improvise. For me, I take it, I cut it up, I do like either a stew, or you use tomatoes, ginger, garlic, the normal spices, and then you can actually season it with um whatever spice that you use, and then you can use like meat, fish, anything just to make it good. And then you can also use it in other vegetables that are like really tough. Like if you're cooking like kale and the kale is a little bit tough, you can use sweet potato leaves. They kind of act like spinach, so they soften down the other vegetables. So you can use this very sweet potatoes to cook eru, for those of you guys who know what eru is. And you can still mix it up even with your bitter leaf just to add the volume. Yeah, and I just remembered because yesterday I was talking about bitter leaf, and I said I didn't know the name in my native tongue. Of course, I did. Maybe that was just like a brain lapse in my brain. Bitter leaf is called wui. Wui. Of course, I can't really spell it out here, but sounds it spells out like WUY. Wui. Okay, so I think I am done the sweet potatoes and sweet potato leaves. But go check it out because this is it's really good. Yeah, it's good in all the senses, edible, nutritional, and what have you. All right. Last on my list today is my flower. It's right here. Let me make sure I have it in full view. Who can guess the name of this flower? Yeah, I love this flower so much, but I'm still deciding. I think I thought it was my best flower, but so far it is, depending on how, you know, it manifests itself. But I think for now, I would say this flower competes with um, the lilies for me. Yeah, flowers are just like a godsend. Like they are so beautiful. First of all, I'm fascinated with flowers, just like how the patterns, you know, the the color, and sometimes even the smell. I don't even know that this one has a particular scent. Of course, it just smells fresh, not like a rose, but it kind of has a floral scent to it. You know, for anyone who guessed already, good for you. But this is called the hydrangea. Hydrangea is spelled Hydrangea. So the hydrangea is grown mostly in this part of the states, I think, in the west. Let's just say it is very common in Minnesota for one. And then I found out on a trip. It's also very common in the Scandinavia, like it's common in Norway, Sweden, and it's a very beautiful flower. Yeah. But the thing with it is that it is, as much as it is beautiful, it is poisonous. So everything on this plant, from the stem, the leaves, and the flower buds, are poisonous. So you have to be careful not to get too caught up with it and then try to taste it for some people, or that it happens to get into the mouth of a child without knowing. So there are many types of this flower, but I would start with the name itself, what it means. The scientific name of this particular flower is called Hydrangea macrophylla. Yeah, it's a species of a flowering plant of the family Hydrangea. So it is a deciduous shrub that grows uh, to 2 meters tall by 2.5. Yeah, so you have like I feel you have different species from what I've seen. For example, you have the one that's called panicled, you have the French hydrangea, you have the smooth one, and then you have one that's like oak leaf, and then the colors still vary. Like you have this one that started like a total like green, and then transformed into like the pink and the white, and then you have another one that's like totally blue, but that started like kind of either white or green. So it's just hard to describe. You just have to like see it to really appreciate the beauty. Yeah, I wish like sometimes I could just drive around and then just show you the different kinds of it, but it is so beautiful, and I hope you guys like it too. What do you think it looks like? Yeah, for me, it's a cone shape, even though it's not really perfect, but it looks like a cone. But from research, it says the hydrangea stems from a Greek a Greek word called for water. Yeah, so hydra means water, so hydros, and jar, angles, and then it was given to this plant because of its shape. So hydrangea is hydros, water jar. Yeah, so it says this shape is like the shape of an ancient water pitcher, maybe, maybe in Greece. I don't know. Yeah, but this just reminds me of like a cone. It's cone shaped. But I've seen hydrangeas that are like they're like all round. They're not even this shape at all. So it's kind of like a plant that has a lot of variation. Yeah, it has a lot of variation to it. Interestingly enough, I had to like research about the uses, because for me, um, I'm drawn to it just by its beauty. You know, it's kind of therapeutic. Some of these flowers, um just to like appreciate how they look. Yeah, but of course, it was interesting to find out that this plant, it's poisonous, except for the is it the rhizome or the roots? Yeah, the roots and the underground rhizomes, which are used to make medicine. So it says if eaten, it can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. So that is like an alert. Don't eat. Yes. Hi. Tish, is it Tisha Solutions? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, sure. You can see it's a very attractive flower. Yeah. So I was just talking about some of the uses and also some of the side effects, maybe, of messing with this flower. So everything beautiful also comes with its with its own side effect, or however you call it. Yeah. So it can cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And then if it gets in contact with your skin, meaning, I mean, this can get in contact with my skin like this, but probably in the crushed form, it can cause dermatitis, rash, or irritation. So you have to seek for medical attention if you get any of these symptoms that I listed. And of course, like I always said before, I am not like a specialist in flowers, no vegetables. I am just somebody who loves nature. So I think you would call me, is it a naturophiliac? Yeah, somebody that loves, living things. Just so I'm just exploring. By profession, I am a clinical lab scientist. So of course, I like to try things. I like to know the whys of things and how you can put things to use and all of that. Yes. So that's just a disclaimer. Whatever I share with you is what I have researched, and they all have references, but yeah, that's how it goes. So it is said from what I have read about this plant that uh, the root and the underground rhizome are used to make medicine, the underground stem. Yeah. So now what you see that's visible, that is poisonous, but the underground stem and the root. So it is used for bladder infections, prostate infections, kidney stones, and large prostate. But of course, there is no good scientific evidence to support this. So this is coming from those who have used it, and it is widely grown, I think, in the northern and eastern part of the USA. And like I said, I also saw this plant in Europe, in the Scandinavia, especially. So we come to the end of my presentation today. Next time, I would like to introduce you to other flowers that I know, and then maybe we can also go into some recipes for other plants that I find important to mention. Um, I just got like a daffodil in the garden. This is one I'm going to talk about next time. It's also a very beautiful flower, and it's amazing that all of the flowers have kind of died, or how you say it, wilted, but this one is still growing strong. So it must love the cold too. I had to cut it off even though this one's haven't like started like blooming, but it's okay. So I hope you guys enjoy this section. Please, again, do like, share, and follow. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to be on the Amma Manson network, showing you what I love, what I'm passionate about. So we'll see you next time, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Mercy Berik reporting from Vegetable and Flowerland. Bye. Adios.